Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Happiness Journey with Dr. Dan podcast, where every journey is worth living. My name is Dr. Dan, and I'm your host for today's episode. I'm a bilingual neurolinguistic programming and cognitive behavior psychotherapist specializing in anger management issues, both court-appointed and private, marriage counseling using the EFT method, dissociative disorders, narcissistic personality disorders, depression, anxiety, dream analysis, and also provide life, business, and retirement coaching support. I provide individual one-on-one session in both French or English, and also do group settings. If you need any assistance, reach out to DMV Therapy and Coaching Services at 301-325-1550, and our website can be found at lifecoachdanamzalek.com. Today, I'm very excited to have for our second episode of season 21, a very special guest and holistic medical expert and scalar energy researcher, Tom Paladino. And just like every of my past episodes, I will leave it up to the guests to properly introduce themselves, as no one can do a better job. Tom, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here. Thank you. My name is Tom Paladino. I am a Scalar Light researcher. With that, I mean I work with the energy of the sun and the stars. So I'm going to speak about this new branch of physics, scalar light, what some people call zero-point energy, in which we access the energy of the stars. It's not electricity. It's a new branch of physics.
Interesting. Okay, I'm sure that a lot of people would love to be able to know, how do you do that? So obviously, something that you can highlight because of what the stars are showing. So first of all, what brought you into becoming a scalar energy researcher?
I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Nikola Tesla. I have a great admiration for the scientist Nikola Tesla. In my estimation, he was the first man to harness scalar energy, this primal energy from the stars. Well, I've made it a career, and to this point, I'm successful. I've engineered scalar light instruments that can harness that energy. Now, to illustrate, this is not electricity. This is a different energy spectrum. Scalar energy has its own principles and laws that it's governed by.
So this energy, can it generate power?
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. With my instrument, I've been fortunate enough that I can even hold a light bulb close to my instrument, and the instrument would illuminate a light bulb in my hand. So it's free energy, if you will. That's the energy of the sun and the stars, and this is where we're going. A new paradigm in which we can access energy from the sun and the stars to perform functions.
So is that going to hurt utilities company in the future?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If we can access the free energy of the stars, the power plant of the future will be the stars. You will not have to dig for coal or drill for oil.
Wow. So explain to us the theory behind this practice. I mean, obviously, solar energy has been there for a long while. Now we're able to, most homes in the South are having solar panels on top of their roof to be able to extract as much power as possible, recharging the battery at their house. And sometimes they could resell this excess energy back to utilities company so they could sell it back to customers who do not have solar panel. So in the scalar energy process, how is the power going to be extracted from stars that are located like millions of light years away?
Yeah, that's a good point. So what I've noticed with scalar energy, the energy's everywhere. Even though the stars might be light years away, nonetheless, the world, this Earth, is flooded with scalar energy. So we simply have to make the conversion from an electromagnetic grid to a scalar energy grid. It will be much more efficient to work with free energy than it is with the electromagnetic grid.
Okay, so what is exactly the physical process that extracting this kind of energy? I mean, the way to extract it, will it be some sort of panels that you would put at a certain angle in your property to be able to take this energy from the night or during the nighttime? How is that processed?
That's correct. You could collect this energy any time of the day. I operate these instruments whether it's pitch black or the noonday sun. So this removes the encumbrance of having to worry about direct sunlight or ambient sunlight. We're working with a different energy spectrum in which we're flooded with energy. We're in a sea of scalar energy.
Okay, so for you to be able to get into connecting the scalar energy researcher and the holistic medical expert, how did you think that correlates What came first? Was it the
Yeah.
star or was it the holistic medical?
What came first was the star. I have to deal with fundamental terms. And I said to myself, well, this is a different source of energy than that of electricity or magnetism. And therefrom, if you will, I developed a holistic approach working with energy fields of people. Now, to be very clear, I never work with people. I work with their force field or their energy field. And I much rather work with an energy field than a chemical body. So my work as a holistic expert is with the realm of quantum or non-physical information, not a chemical, not a biological process.
Wow. Okay. So how long does it take for you to be able to extract this kind of energy from
Yeah.
the stars? I mean, is there like, for example, if you put solar panels on the roof, they will extract the energy from, of course, when the sun rises and when the sun sets, and it stores the energy that is not being used. And is
Right.
it something that is going to be the same process, or
Yeah.
are we talking about energy not used is energy lost?
Much more significantly enhanced. Why? There's no entropy. So no matter what time I'm operating my instrument or any type of solar panel, you're collecting stellar energy.
Correct.
So again, scalar energy is not electricity. So what do I like about our research? It's free energy, it's clean, it's non-physical. And with this, we have, if you will, an unlimited supply of energy so that regardless of the situation, regardless of what circumstance we face, we have access to this primal force.
Okay. And so the holistic wellness that we're talking about here, how do you adapt what you've studied in scalar energy to holistic? Because
Okay.
right now, I'm sorry to add two questions in one. I mean, obviously,
Okay.
a lot of people are very familiar with the scalar energy. They're more
Yeah.
familiar with the holistic approach.
Right.
So how do you combine both so people can shy away from all the crappy medication that's out there and to be able
Okay.
to feel more using natural resources?
Okay, natural resources, that's what it's all about. I do not use chemicals. I work with non-physical intelligence. Now, the way I deliver this intelligence is not to a person in the flesh. I work with a person's photograph. Now, keep in mind, this is quantum. A photograph has an energy signature or a force field. I don't work biologically with a person. I work energetically with a force field. People will email me a photograph. I can access a person's force field through their photograph. Now, by way of analogy, we're having a conversation through our computer.
Yes.
Obviously, doctor, you're not in my laboratory. I'm not in your office. We're discussing matters through a computer. Well, likewise, we can discuss matters through a photograph, so to speak. I can send energy into a person's photograph and I can access a person's, if you will, force field. Their soul, their mind, and their body are incorporated on a photograph.
But a photograph is static, not dynamic. So
Yeah,
you expect something that is static.
that's a good point. But you're right. With scalar energy, it's always kinetic. It's never ending information. My photograph changes with my mood. So a photograph always reports my present day constitution.
Okay.
Now, you're right. In the electromagnetic spectrum, that would be static. It would be set in time. In a quantum realm, it will change with the course of events. So this photograph is energetically alive with my soul, mind, and body.
But then a picture that is taken at a certain time of the day where you're happier versus sadder, then if it's taken into a specific time of the day, it's not
Yes.
really a clear demonstration of how you feel 24/7.
You're right, because the photograph changes with my mood. Now, this is the key to my research. I work with kinetic energy, I work with dynamic energy, and in so doing, I can access a person, their soul, mind, and body anytime through a photograph, regardless of the age of the photograph. So this is a kinetic connection, if you will, to a person's aura or their force field.
Okay, so let's delve deeper into the aura thing, okay? That really
Yeah.
my curiosity. You mentioned something about the age. So if someone sends you a picture and they put a filter to it, like we know 99.9% of people, they put filters or they make themselves look younger or they take wrinkles out of their face, whatever it is does that will have an impact on your analysis?
It will not, because there's still some part of their skin that's photographed. Now, you could touch up, you could airbrush some wrinkles or a crow's nest, if you will, in somebody's eyebrow, but nonetheless, it's still their energy signature. So that's the key to my work. Everything, if you will, revolves around that signal, that signature. And airbrushing usually doesn't have any effect upon our work.
So that will completely revolutionize the dating industry.
Yes.
If we go online and we go on Tinder or Bumble, whatever it is, and if these companies partner up with you and everyone that is actually sending each other's picture, they go through a specific algorithm or analysis, then they could determine the personality of that person. What is exactly, when you look at someone's picture, see their aura, what does it
You're right. I think this intelligence, this scalar energy, is a divine energy. So I believe it has all information. In other words, my photograph would have my temperament. It would have my blood pressure. It would have my blood type. It would have my genotype. This is the new branch of physics in which we're now discovering that information is king. Okay. And my photograph carries all of my information.
So is it like a black hole where Stephen Hawking mentioned that the information, when it goes in, it is completely lost? But then when it talks about the event horizon, light does escape from the event horizon of a black hole. Is it something that is similar in theory, where information can never be lost from an aura of a person?
That's correct. This photograph of mine, or anybody's photograph, the information can never be lost. So this is infinite intelligence. This is perpetual energy, perpetual information. That introduces the new branch of physics, scalar energy. Some people call that the Akashic record. Yes. It really is the mind of God. This is consciousness. And there's no limit to consciousness.
That is so true. So how can someone, because now you made me very curious, and I'm going to send you my picture, and I want to see exactly what kind of information can people expect from either a romantic interest, a business interaction, or like a partnership with another business owner, if they have to go into business together, whatever it is. Can that show if this person may be a scammer, maybe someone who is, not trusting, or how does all that combine?
I believe this energy will heighten our awareness. Many people say that they have a greater sense of judging people. Their conscious is improved, the ability to judge between correct and incorrect. So it does have an impact upon our brain waves and our 7 chakras. It also has an impact upon us so that we can now identify a microbe, such as the herpes virus, on a person's photograph, and we can eliminate the herpes signal on a photograph. So my human body is found on that photograph. Okay. And whatever my human body has, if it includes the herpes virus, I can simply match up a photograph of the herpes virus with my photograph. Okay. The energy, because it's the Akashic record, will find the Akashic record of herpes in my force field and negate it, remove it.
Okay, so, but does that affect more the physical than the mental? So if someone
both, because let's say you're in the dating world and you fear that you have herpes. If my instrument, if my technology can remove the herpes signal, the signature of herpes, many people say that they feel free, that they no longer have the symptoms of herpes.
And how long does it take for you to be able to make this happen? Because if you could do this, telepathically or in a kinetic way, then people will not need to have to go to the doctor. They will not need to take herpes medication, and all or physical illnesses can be cured.
My experience, it only takes one treatment, one session to negate the herpes signal. And many people have shared with us their test results. After we work with people, their PCR test shows no viral load for herpes. So this is very promising. Again, working with the mind of God consciousness, it is this non-physical intelligence that supersedes consciousness, supersedes the physical realm.
Okay, so Tom, let me understand this. If, let's say, someone calls you and say, Tom, I have a bipolar disorder, and
Yes.
you're going to take the bipolar, because bipolar is not a virus, it's a mental illness.
Yes.
So you're going to
Yes.
put side by side their image or their
Yes.
picture, and you're going to take that away from them, or you're going to take the bipolar disorder away from what they've been experiencing for years or even decades.
We correct their chakras. We correct their brain waves. So if we see somebody who's bipolar or ADD, whatever, it's this energy, this intelligence that will correct their brain waves, that will, if you will, realign the 7 chakras. I am of the firm opinion that we have 7 chakras, which are quantum chakras. And if we can align those chakras, I see people give up cigarette addiction. They give up heroin addiction, marijuana addiction. Many people say they're happier. Many people say they no longer procrastinate. How did I achieve that through a photograph? I don't achieve anything. The light, the energy corrects the chakras in the brain waves.
Okay, but you're sending this energy through what? You have to have some sort of vehicle.
Yeah, well, the vehicle is the scalar energy instrument. My instrument is engineered to access the scalar realm. You see, when you have an electrical instrument, obviously you access the electromagnetic realm. I don't work with that grid system. I have a scalar energy instrument that allows me to access that other branch of physics, scalar energy.
Okay, and this vehicle that you're talking about, what is made of? I mean, what did you do to be able to create? I mean, is it a prototype, or is it something you've taken something that already exists and you added a few, I would say, instruments to it to be able to adapt it to what you're looking for? I mean, how is that going?
There's a century of engineering behind these instruments. I'm one of the few people on the planet that have a Scalar Light instrument. Okay. My predecessor, a man by the name of Galen Hieronymus, developed this instrument. He's deceased. I follow in his footsteps. These are instruments that function in the scalar realm, 0-point energy. They do not function with electricity and magnetism. And on account of the fact that we can access the scalar energy realm, we can do so much more that electricity cannot do. You cannot achieve it with electricity.
So it's just like a standalone instrument, but
yes,
it's like a lever that you turn. Is it something that you generate? I mean, I'm curious to see how that works.
It's the presence. In other words, I'm in a scalar energy laboratory. It's so strong the instrument can illuminate a light bulb. So what's the point here? The point is this instrument is already, if you will, exhibiting, providing a local scalar energy environment. Standing close to this instrument, I can feel the energy pulsing. So it's the environment. That's the key. When I place your photograph inside the instrument, your photograph enjoys a scalar energy environment, no longer in an electromagnetic environment.
Okay, so because I see a lot of wires connected to different platforms. So these wires goes where?
This instrument will, if you will, produce a pulsation, will travel through those wires into the Tesla coil, and the Tesla coil then manifests that scalar energy wave. It's rather sophisticated.
But the Tesla coil is a sort of a battery?
No, it's just a broadcast device. But if you will, once again, the energies from the sun and the stars. This instrument harnesses that energy, reproduces that pulsation, and the Tesla coils then magnify or amplify the wave.
So, but that the big item into the left, the one that's connected to the coil, it has to be connected to the outside, to something that generates.
Yes, it does. Energy. What my predecessor and I discovered is that you can start with AC electricity and convert it into scalar. So we plug it into AC, the AC is converted into scalar waves, then the scalar wave is pulsed and finally finds its way to the coils, and then the coil manifests the wave.
And okay, so you said it takes one treatment, but this treatment, let's say you put the picture where? In between the coils, or in between the how does it
in the vicinity of the coils? Okay. That's all. In the vicinity. Anything close to those coils is a scalar energy environment. You're no longer in an electromagnetic environment. I feel that when I place my photograph in that instrument, I feel the pulsation.
Okay. Does it in long-term study, Tom, how does it affect the brain waves?
from experience. Now, again, I can't prove this because nobody's ever worked with the scalar energy instruments to the extent that I have. How does it have a long-standing effect? Many people say they're happier. Some people say they've given up depression or addiction to drugs or addiction to pornography. How did that happen? Through corrective intelligence. It's not me. Inbuilt is corrective intelligence in this energy.
Okay, so you mean if someone had been watching porn for, let's say, 5 years, and they do one session with you, the next day they have no desire to wanting to log in or watch, or is it a diminutive effect?
It's diminished. Some people say they have an attenuated desire for drugs or pornography or alcohol. So it has some type of an effect to diminish our desire for what we would consider to be aberrant behavior.
Okay. So in terms of the wave that it does emit, how is it affecting anything else in your physical body?
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I have a nutrient program that goes along with this, in which I download or I broadcast the energy of nutrients into my photograph. And on account of that fact, sometimes I only need to eat one meal a day. I'm not hungry. I receive my nutrition through light, through energy. I do not take a multivitamin. I do not take a protein shake. I am incorporating the light, the energy of nutrients, and with that, I have achieved superior nutritional balance.
So, okay, so let's talk about those who are actually doing intermittent fasting. So can that assist someone in weight loss?
Tremendously, tremendously. Many people go under our program, say they're no longer hungry, so they can easily practice intermittent fasting. They can miss a meal a day. I can easily miss a meal a day. You see, I don't have that psychological desire for food. It's removed. And in so doing, you can easily miss a meal. You can easily forego 500, 1,000 calories a day. Many of our clients do that.
So how much of that is sustainable?
Many of people say that's sustainable even after they go off the program, because this is imparted intelligence that corrects, that rewires their brain or their chakras.
Okay, so so the brain will stop producing this hunger hormone that tells you that you're supposed to be hungry at that specific time, and it will just kind of like diminish the effect of or the desire to wanting to eat, or
exactly both, all of the above. All of the above, because it's inbuilt. It's the Akashic record that's inbuilt. Let's face it, if we have an inordinate desire for food or sugar or alcohol, that's aberrant behavior. This is corrective behavior in which people no longer crave sugar or chocolate. I can speak for myself. I always liked chocolate, but ever since I've gone on this program, I really don't have a desire to eat chocolate. I have no desire to eat chocolate.
So, but is it chocolate or is it sweets overall? Because
it was
something else.
it was chocolate per se. Okay. You know, because I've always moderated my health, but now I find myself, after years of being on this program, I have no desire for chocolate.
Well, my wife may need that actually. So that's interesting. Okay, so when it comes to other aspect of someone's life, let's say procrastination or having or not having the ability to be able to succeed in whatever they endeavor, is it something that can change your mindset as well?
I think so. From what I've seen, yes, I think so. I've said some people say they procrastinated in performing homework or doing chores around the house. After they're on our session for a month or so, they appear to be self-directed, that they take self-control of their lives. Something changes in their thinking.
Wow, this is really something very, very interesting. I've never heard of that. I know that you and I, we had an interview before this podcast a while back, actually. I think it was January or some sort. And I was very, very curious to be able to see how does that science, I mean, we can call it science because, again, it's something that is basically not a trend yet. So when do you expect this to be able to be utilized in the medical field?
Yeah. As soon as the world embraces it. Now, to caution, I have nothing to do with medical science. Why? For three good reasons. It's non-physical. Okay, you can't measure it, number two. And I never work with people. I work with energy fields. When was the last time anybody, a dentist or anybody in the medical field, worked with a photograph?
That's
So
true.
this is an entirely new science. This is not medicine.
Mhm.
This is, if you want to call it health, it's energetic health of a photograph. What's the photograph? It's my double. I have a bilocated version. This is my energetic twin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then again, at the same time, Tom, would you agree that if this, I mean, not if, but when this become a trend, if like people or in the medical field, they see that you're taking away some
Yeah.
value from them, is
Yeah.
it going to impact your credibility?
You're going to see a political firestorm over this. This technology is free energy. Not only in the medical field will they have concern, but